let's get rolling. Okay, and the idea of business ahead of the festive season is where we are looking at. Back in the time when we were heading to the festive season, this was a period of November. Eddenya wetwalabiranga abasama mbayite basama abasasanya sente abavubuka omanya abavubuka be Uganda balina amanya ge bayita olinga ayinamu ku sente omwana nkuba kyeyo akomawo mu ggwanga mu biseera bya November. It is time for the parties, and it was time where the entertainment sector made a lot of money from the key stakeholders as well as those part of the exercise. Look at this. This included people from let's look at this. These included people from South Africa, guys working from Turkey, the United States, Dubai, coming back, spending that money. That was how the festive season started. And that is how you would definitely get to understand that the festive season has been entirely launched and it's actually on the go. So it is where you can actually pick up from is that as we are heading into the festive season, things are changing. And these changes have been brought about by COVID-19 with scenarios that take us back to memories that are well driven. And now, for instance, cases of, let's say, COVID have brought about changes in how people do business. Back in the time, the bars were supposed to operate till late in the night. But this time around, bars have actually turned to be restaurants or fast food centers. Reason being, the presidential guidelines do not allow them to continuously get going. Though, I must admit that even the police has actually called upon all the bars that are operating illegally, because we do have a list of those as well that are operating illegally. And the police did have a statement last week saying that they will crack down these particular bars and the bar owners, plus the things that they use in the bars to carry out various activities. So get this right. So if I tell you are a bar owner and you're still carrying on with these activities, just stay warned, because police is actually going to crack down every other person out there engaging in all these activities. But still, previously, with how Ugandans used to celebrate the festive season, during this time, the outdoor vendors were making a lot of money. It was a time whereby people would buy new clothing. If I do throwback memories of my childhood, people used to actually buy these clothes. People used to be buying different Christmas trees were on the market. Christmas songs were making out throughout this period. Now they were actually coming in, all those songs of Christmas, remembering the days back in the time, remembering the day when the Lord Jesus Christ was born. So it was a Christmas situation. So the festive season ends up till the 1st of January the next year. So this is where we're actually drawing everything. That in most cases, we tend to forget that Christmas is now here because it is COVID. It is the pandemic, and we're used to a lockdown where it is no longer the other narrative where we thought it was supposed to be time for merrymaking. No, this time around it's should I call it a virtual, or it's an indoor celebration. It's you and your family to celebrate Christmas, and yes, you get going. But still, away from that, let's look at these scenarios. The world is venturing in building greatness. And whenever we say the world is venturing in building greatness, it means the world is venturing in new innovations and new ideas, whereby everyone looks at now the festive season as a way of getting money, but in a more intelligent manner. You need to think beyond the box. Olowooza nnyo okusinga balala bakompetita bangi ate abaguzi batono olw'ensonga nti abantu kati bali so But it's so, what I say, they are so calculative in the way they handle their money or their finances. People know how to handle their finances. So tamalaga kwasaganya sente anyhowly akati enaku za sente bazikwasaganya bukulu na buvunanyizibwa tebakyayagala kwengaginga mu business ez'enjawulo nga tamanyi wa waafunira. So that is where I'm drawing the line. That if I told you a business owner out there, what is that one thing you need to pick up in the business and the sector of during this pandemic and during these trying times of the pandemic? But anyway, I had a sit-down chat, close one-on-one interview with the manager of one of the bars here in Kampala, and we're actually talking about life ahead of the festive season and how they have actually managed to survive during this time whereby clients are limited, and being the fact that the government put a stop to these bars working, and the only good thing, it was dubbing as a bar, cafe and lounge. So there is a way we're actually getting the customers, and this is a gentleman that we got from Caliente Lounge, and he was telling us something, one or two, from how they've actually survived in the business and what they need to do. Let's check this out. I'll be right back. Round, we decided to take it to the field and get ideas and businesses as well. We're live from Caliente Lounge in Bugolobi, and today we're going to ask some of the individuals how business is around this area and how they are actually moving on with it. We are in lockdown situations. We're heading into the festive season, a lot out there, and a lot of all those issues is what we're going to be discussing. Just a few of those, and I'm joined by a gentleman working with Caliente Lodge. You're most welcome, sir.
The manager.
I'm talking with the manager, I would say. Yes, you're most welcome.
Thank you.
Now, what I would want, if you can tell a viewer out there, take us through, how can you get the customers? How do you get these customers? How do you handle them? In terms of working in such a place here?
First thing I'll tell you, it's not easy. Whoever investor is there, it's not easy. You know, bars, if I'm to count for you, I'll not finish. It's competition. But then at the end of the day, how are you retaining your clients, the one you call your clients, who come here every day? Do you know, in business, your true clients are those ones who show up every day. That one who's going to show up on a Monday and give you 3K or 4K or 10K. Not the one who's going to show up once in a month to give you 100K. So, to me, I think it begins with the discipline of your environment, the people you're working with. Are they disciplined? Now, with service, if you've been to places, you should know most times what you're selling is attitude. Especially the people who are working for you. Bad attitude, trust me, I have no client here. So if it's always good, I always advise my people to have a positive attitude at all times. Okay? You have a positive attitude at all times. A client comes in, doesn't have to welcome him with a smile. You can keep the smile actually at all times. That's what customers want. Customers of Uganda love to be cared about, like babies. So you want that, you come to Caliente. Yeah.
And of course, he was mentioning that customers need to be taken care of like babies. I mean, all of you would feel better to be pampered. You love hospitality. And hospitality always brings a lot brings many customers at any place. Now, manager, let's also talk about the situations here in Uganda. We are in a lockdown, and at the end of it all, the festive season is approaching. So how do you think people can do business to earn some money? Let's try to bring it up in a holistic way. What are those tips that you can give to someone to get money during this period?
Pulling people, especially in this period of the lockdown. Now, couple it with the bombs, it's even going to become even more harder. But it's not the end of life. At the end of the day, me and my team will go back to the drawing board and see what should we do. So as of now, what I can advise, make use of social media. There is Facebook, there is WhatsApp, there is all those social platforms. Make use of them. and then socializing. You see, when I get the client here, one or two, I make them friends. So it's those clients who are going to be there for me tomorrow. Yeah.
I think you've picked out a few of these ideas from the manager, Caliente. Caliente.
I don't know why this name is too hard for people to pronounce.
It is very hard.
Caliente.
Is it a French or something related to that?
Yeah. Caliente. Not others call it Caliente. Our brothers from that side. Caliente, you know, with the accent. But it's Caliente. Caliente Lounge, Bugolobi.
Okay, and we're at the Caliente Lounge in Bugolobi, and I hope you guys are going to pick something out of it. It is the festive season, the lockdown, and it's hard to do business here, but you can actually pick a leaf from what the manager, Caliente Lounge, has actually noted, and then maybe you can use it, and at the end of the day, make some money during the festive season with these lockdowns. Thank you very much. So the manager Caliente Lounge had to actually talk about the idea that, hey, let's get this moving. The customer care is quite important. I didn't mention that there are very few customers at this time. And it being the fact that there are very few customers at this time, the way you drive your business should actually be quite aggressively. You need to be aggressive, you need to be different, you need to drive your business on the uniqueness of others. You need to be quite the opposite of what others are doing, because goinobo enjawulo nyo chikyusamu lwatso gati abantu batono tuli mu mbeera ya covid bakasitoma abajjanga ebiseera biri ojja kwekanganga batono nnyo ate ng'ate bwe tunagamba nti no batono ojja kwekanganga si kuba nti batono just naye ojja kubanga okanga nti n'ennyingiza ya ssente nayo ntonoko in one way or the other. Okay, let's leave that as we head into the next situation. Now, talking about uniqueness in driving business. Over the weekend, a video was making headlines throughout the weekend, and there was a gentleman dealing in selling grasshoppers, who most of you go to hear about. Some of you go to see as well. The gentleman was actually selling grasshoppers on board before the Uganda Airlines actually left off to Dubai. And this posed a number of questions to most of the people in Uganda, that how can someone get on board to actually sell grasshoppers? He made some good money, and if you can only imagine how much he picked from there. But anyway, let's first have a look at this video. I'm going to return after it. And so now ebibuuzo byabadde biri mu ggwanga byabadde nti omwami oyo atuuka atya ku nnyonyi. Abaana ne bakola bumiimu awo nga balaga nti bye bujja mu maaso Uganda Airlines ejja kuba ekkiriza n'ab'ebinyeebwa. Omanyi abantu ababeera mpaka batambuza amazzi ne soda nawe n'atera obbakkiriza. So that was the argument on social media. People are actually pulling ropes and asking themselves questions. Oyo guy yatuusa atya ku nnyonyi? So look at that situation. Ebiseera ebisinga tuyinza okwekanga nga twekuba ffekka, naye ng'ensonga lwaki twekuba eri meaningful. Why? It is the other people actually looking at it. I'm giving you some of the opinions. I actually went through the timeline to read people's reactions towards it, because Ugandans are very quick to react normally on social media, and it was not a doubt that Uganda Airlines and Insenene were trending on Friday and Saturday, and this is where most of the Ugandans were like, okay, maybe it was a stunt, and then the others were like, no, I think someone must have been bribed at the airport, because all those cases happen in Uganda and we all know we are trying to fight corruption. And maybe someone must have been bribed by this guy and given some amount of money, or they actually discussed the terms and conditions, which included, I will actually get commission after you've sold off, because this gentleman here went and made some good money. You know, normally people who go out of the country, if you will agree with me, I haven't actually got the chance to move out of the country, but what I know of the information I've got is normally people carry heavy amounts of money, from 20k. I think the list denomination they carry is maybe a 10,000. So the gentleman used this opportunity to exploit these people by getting out of them 10,000 Ugandan shillings each. So look at that. And me, I was looking at it in my own version, saying, how about if, just like when the Uganda Airlines decided to actually write a statement saying that they actually came out with a statement in reaction to such activities, and they came out and said, yes, that they are well sure of the activities that took place before the aircraft flew out of the country. But they are going to actually, the State Minister of Works and Transport, General Katuma Amala, expelled the cabin crew that was in that particular air carrier, saying that they could not in their order of service were they supposed to accept the gentleman to actually come on board. Now, more of the information that we do have regarding the same issue of the gentleman, Kasita, Kampala City Traders Association, has actually said it is going to punish this gentleman upon doing something like that, because it actually tarnished the image of the Uganda Airlines in one way or the other. Because kati abantu bambata ntulaba nti wakyaliwo opportunity weekend jojja kwekanga nga waliwo omulala azze nga ku luno ye ayingiddewo n'ebinyeebwa ekibuuzo kirala kye neebuuza, it can actually get back to a situation. Was this a stunt in one way or the other? Kubanga omuntu atayina, nze nina kye neebuuza, omuntu talina visa oba talina ticket, air ticket, waba ayita mu process y'okumukebera okuyingira mu nnyonyi, ayingira atya? Because sibeerangako mu nnyonyi naye ku byendaba ndaba airport nze bunyonyi akuyita awo kugenda, kati omuntu atambuza ensenene oyingira eyo. Let's look at this. The passenger who sold grasshoppers, locally known as Nsenene, aboard the airline's flight 446 came out and apologized. And this gentleman is identified as Paul Mubiru. Basajja bajjagujagwa mjora mposonko tuba bajjagujagu ba Paul nayono ye obujjagujagu bwa amaanyi nnyo. So this incident happened before Airbus A330-800 Neo departed for Dubai at Entebbe International Airport. Those were events that happened on Friday, the 26th. Mubiru, in video circulating on social media, was seen selling grasshoppers for 10,000 shillings. And imagine someone selling grasshoppers mweze mugule 12,000 na agulirako nazitunda mutwalo mulamba. So this is where I was actually talking about the uniqueness and the idea of knowing that in business abantu bagezi nnyo, omuntu wamanya nti season yeno nfu, season ye yalimu sente nnyo nfu, oyina okugikozesa opportunity eyo. Yesterday I also got a chance of eating grasshoppers for the first time suddenly. Got them in Kajansi, got at 2,000 Ugandan shillings. Though the ones I got, I think, were cold. I think they had been prepared the previous night. And thank God I haven't got any issues regards to my tummy. And I hope I will try them later on. This time around I want to try fresh ones because it had actually taken me some good time to take grasshoppers, and in such a period, because some people are asking me how come people are taking grasshoppers even in the middle of the year or even at the start of the year, when we all know it is always November. Even the Baganda termed it as Musenene. Anyway, and in a letter dated November 27 and a video in both English and Luganda, Mubiru apologized, and he actually says he was hawking the grasshoppers for comical purposes. Now, for him, he says these grasshoppers, he was actually hawking them just in just issues of comedy. That is why he was actually doing so. However, his oral apology was witnessed by an identified Ugandan who seems to wield authority based on the tone of the voice used. Social media analyst thereby say Mubiru has been forced to make the apology, and not because he wanted. Mubiru's apology comes a few hours after Thaddeus Musoke, I was mentioning about, the chairperson of Kampala State Traders Association, identified him and said he will be punished according to the laws that govern Kasita. Musoke retaliated the same to the reporter, saying that even though Mubiru has apologized, he will have to be punished. As Musoke said, Mubiru is a purchasing agent for several city traders who do not want to travel to Dubai. So you can easily see that maybe he had actually connived with some of the city traders to get on board on the Uganda Airlines and sell these grasshoppers. Hey, man, some of the things and most of the questions here are most people asking, hey, na Uganda. Omanyi eggwanga lino eggwanga waliwo engombe etambulira mu bavubuka ku social media egamba nti naye ani afuga eggwanga lino, nti for a second in time abantu batuuka kaseera ne beebuuza ani alifuga, kubanga bagenda olaba nti ebintu ebikolebwa muno abantu bano ebiseera ebisinga balina engalo gye bakolamu ebintu nga yafujjo bufujjo, and at the end of it all abalala ne bajja ne bagamba nti lino eggwanga mwana wattu olemwa kubanga tomanya ki muntu kyazzaako. In Uganda, it is when after a period of time you're looking at the Uganda Airlines. Recently social media was in shock after some incidents that happened in Kisoro during a downpour on the roadside, whereby a gentleman was on a bicycle was with a lady dealing in some sexual actions. Then you could still imagine and say, so we still have people like this. Away from that, as other countries actually worrying for COVID-19, the wave that is actually hitting, our country is now having issues to deal with the airlines, whereby we're still asking ourselves questions, how did the trader get on board? Because we are all looking at the idea that the trader was selling grasshoppers. Me, the bigger worry is, if it is in terms of security, what possible security threat can someone carry on an airplane? Remember a movie called Snakes on the Plane? I don't know whether some of you have ever watched that. One of the most scary movies that you wouldn't want to watch if at all you're going to board a plane in the next few hours on the next day. So imagine the possible security threats that are attached to someone just getting onto the aircraft without a ticket going abroad. And the narrative that I love about Ugandans is that lately Ugandans, whether they find someone in the action of crime, leading to crime, they will not stop the activity. They will only record it for views on social media. The other day I would want to talk about social media, but in one other angle. I would want to we shall actually have to bring someone here on board, a social media expert, to discuss the effects of social media and why Ugandans need to take keynote of social media. Because I think we are too quick to note, or we are too quick to record incidents than to actually find solutions to issues. Omanyi mwene generation gye tulimu, almost everyone became a mini journalist or a semi-journalist in one way or the other. Buli omu kasaba ne smartphone ng'eriko camera, whether it's a good one or not. Kasitaba nga waliwo content. Omanyi in terms of production we have a content. Kasitaba nga waliwo content, because the footage you're seeing there, let not any TV station tell you it was recorded by their camera. regardless of whether you find someone actually adding a watermark also, that was a phone footage. That is why you're looking at the resolutions. It is because it was a phone footage and a video coverage that was covered by a phone. So which shows you that the journalists are everywhere and all corners. So in every crime that you're committing, make sure you're not noticed by anyone, because at the end of it all, video pushing in one way or the other. So that's it all from the issue of businesses ahead of the festive season, towards the festive season. There are a lot of things you need to know about the festive season. Naye chibuuzo kiri nti gwe nga gwe muna business ogenda kukola otya surviving. When I do return after the break, tell you what, we're heading to the sports business. A lot of sporting activity happened throughout the weekend, and all that is coming your way after the break. I'm Jerome Paul Sanko. Stick around.